Well, it looks like a little bit of distribution is starting to happen here, guys, and we're going to go ahead and go over some of these targets as we do have some formations that are starting to kind of unfold here, which can tell us the future of some price action here. Of course, I'm not talking about the end of the world. I'm speaking of just a small distribution phase before we experience what could look like an upside continuation. That and more. But first, welcome back to the team. Everybody, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, do everything necessary to get this thing to live long, thrive, and survive. My name is ARCa. Let's go ahead and take a look at this XRP chart, guys, in the 15-minute time frame of where we can see a bit of a dead cat bounce happening here, right, guys? If it is in fact that we're getting this dead cat, then we would need a series of volume here, right? So first of all, the upside volume should decline in volume and the downside should increase in volume, of which we're getting that criteria. This is one way to validate the potentials of continuation from one formation. Okay, guys, so this is the way you measure that dead cat, right? This would be your confluent bottom side right about here at that 224, right? You take the largest area down to that trend line that you drew down there, right at the very bottom side of the dead cat, and you apply this to the very bottom side, and that would give you a target of just about the 50% of the target that we talked about yesterday here at 223.40 to 222.60, and I will just go ahead and jot down this target here. So as of now, this formation is indicating the continuation into this first target, right? Very good. Now, the continuing formation here, that could be given to us via another macro formation of sorts, unfortunately enough, and that would be through the eyes of what we can observe. Let's see. There you go. We have a head and shoulders formation coming in, and that also has its potential dead cat bounce. Now, I don't really like the way that the head and shoulders is positioned here, but it's good enough to, it is, well enough to take into deep consideration here. So we can go ahead and measure the dead cat from this as well, right? Parabolic downside recovery, then continuation. And should that also be the case, it may not be the strongest downside in the world, but it does have inclining volume finally starting at this point here. So let's see about that. Okay, so if we're going to measure this to the downside, we're already getting some downside now. This would be the present target, right? We would just measure it right down to this. Let's see if we can just kind of extend this a little bit. Let me see where that downside is. I'm just going to leave the trend line here for now because I am literally unable to see what's behind these many price targets that we are observing, right? So I'm going to just move these to the right just like this because that is something that we are potentially expecting here. And let's see about that continuation. Okay, so from this top side, right, we're going to go ahead and measure it to that dead cat bottom, which is that same yellow line that we used. And this would then be applied to that yellow line to determine what that bottom side target could look like. Okay, so it looks like we would be reaching a target of around 219.40, looks like 219.48-ish, right? So we can just go ahead and say that this would be the 219.47, right? Okay, good stuff. All right, so now this would be, I guess, the hard target on this would actually be around 219.98 based on many other confluences that are touching down at that exact target, right? So meaning that we would use the historical price against the psychological price as the more valid one, right? Okay, so now I guess we are suggesting that there could be a probable drop into this area here. Now, will this zone invalidate any further downside? Well, actually, maybe, but we would actually have to see this from from the perspective of a larger time frame. Yesterday's price action from the potential entries of around 224.10 to around 223.75 worked out just nicely, right? And we got all the way up to the top of the expected target. In fact, we talked about a 231.48, but if you look at the OHLC values up here, the high came up to 231.39 of the 231.48. So apologies on that team, but we were able to knock that upside out. Now, the upside thesis on this is not done. This is a small distribution before potential continuation. Okay, so now regarding the price, let's go ahead and take a look at some closing valuations here. So we want to see what bars closed. Of course, the daily time frame closed, and it closed as a shooting star formation. It typically speaks downside. Well, your bi-daily time frame also closed, and this would be suggesting a potential 50% prior bar retrace. So where would that mark be on a bi-daily time frame? Well, it looks like it would be roughly around 223, right? So, but if we're using, I mean, this is a hard target here, right? Right at the 223 level. But if we're observing historical price, well, there is one more that we could consider for that, at least for the downside targeting, and that would be right about, let me see, I see it. Okay, right about here. Okay, so now that 222.74, what does that rhyme with? It does have some rhyming there, all good. But if I were to use this rhyming here, it's only 2 touches, right? So I would probably experiment with one more lower notch on this should we have more confluence. So in fact, there is some more confluence on there, but in reality, the true area of supports could land right about here, right? We have the opening and closing valuations of these connected to this top side here, which is pretty much connected to this top side here as well. We have the bottom side of this candle, the top side, the bottom of side, the upside of this one too. A lot of confluence is happening right around this zone here. So I have to say that 220.66 appears to be more of a target that I'm interested in, right? So 220.66 is very close to the target of the 219 actual target that we were observing, right? So this would be right here, the 219.98. The 220.66 is right up here. So yeah, I think this is a fair area to consider. I guess to consider some type of a position entry, right? It's going to be very aggressive. It's going to be a very aggressive trade to enter in those valuations, though, I will say. Okay, it seems so. I would need you to be abundantly careful here with price, because this can really spank you super duper. As price typically tends to do some weird moves into drops like these, right? Volatile moves, that is. Okay, so guys, I want to just go ahead and say that the 4th of July sale is coming tomorrow, and we're going to put everything up at a massive discount. Okay, guys, so preserve as and maybe try not to purchase anything like we said earlier, right, until the July 4th event happens, guys. We're going to put massive discounts, anything ARCa Bulls related. Okay, guys, thank you so much for that. And let's continue here with the analysis. Okay, so if we do have downside, then we should be postured to the downside on volatility as well, right? And I'm seeing volatility against momentum. So, I mean, I guess fair enough. It is looking like it. We do have contraction though, right? So that doesn't mean strength. It means that it would be downside here, and it feels like it could also be a downside that would be not so dangerous, not so expansive. We are getting some expansion here on a 20-minute time frame downside, right? So this is the new bar printed, and it's already resisting from the prior bar's high. So should this have continuation to the downside, it has its own average true range for that. But let's keep on going. This 30-minute time frame candle just opened. Right, what it's experiencing right now, it's the probable 50% prior bar pullback, right? So that's getting a resistance roughly around here or around 224.39, right around these areas here. Should there be a bigger pullback, that would be hourly, and the hourly did close. Okay, so if the hourly closed, yeah, we could see a little bit more of upside here, but this is typically around the zones where we can get a pullback from, right? Because this is a true red outside bar. This would be a validation of resistance. Screw it. It can still make it all the way up to the areas of 224.62 should it want to, right? No big deal. But roughly around here is where it resists, and it continues to the downside, as you can see, which is something that I'm going to teach you how to read inside of the ARCa Bulls, the master's course, guys, for the beginners and trading platform. Which, by the way, actually, that does have early access to July 4th in the description below. Click on that, guys. Send me the proof of receipt, and I'll get you into the university Discord and assign your roles. Okay, now that's a downside continuation likely into the hourly. Let's see, that would be downside by hourly time frame. 3-hour time frame still has downside to go. Okay, yeah, we're distributing here for sure, guys. A 4-hour time frame downside. 6-hour time frame downside with expansion. Nice. And that would be just about 8 hours. And what else? Okay, so we have just about 12 hours of downside to experience here. So that would put us at about an ATR low of two. Look at that, guys. $2.1876 rounded to $2.19. How awesome is that, right? So that would be 218.76. So that, guys, we would just have to, we have to observe things that can invalidate this play to the downside, right? But so far the statistics are leading towards that 218.76 bottom, right? So it's our 75 bottom. Very, very cool. And in fact, I already kind of had another target around there, so that's also good. Okay, now the upside continues though on that 12-hour time frame, and so does the hour, and so does the daily time frame, right? It suggests upside by daily upside and critically contracted, by the way. Many of these time frames are. Same with the 3-day, the 4-day time frame. New bar here, right? So that would bring you back to a 50%, and it's so yes. Okay, so that's a new bar. Oh, nice. Okay, so let's read the ATR low on this, because this would also give us critical information. The ATR low on this would be a little too low, 201, but the upside from this is what I'm looking for, right? Because we are increasing volume, green volume here on this upside. That means we have momentum bars to the upside. 50% prior bar pullback puts you at, guess where? 220, right, guys? Very interesting. Now, the upside, let's see, how much further upside do we have? I guess we could, that's confusing. There's consolidation on a 5-day and a weekly, so I guess I'm just going to use the 4-day time frame. Okay, the 4-day time frame upside ATR is leading to, look at that, $2.49. And of course, you are familiarized with that target already because of the descending broadening wedge that we've been kind of trading in and out of here, right, guys? This is the wedge, and you're looking at a take profit target on the top end here, 248.28. Very good stuff. All right, so yeah, guys, I think we're kind of poised here for some continuation to the upside in the immediate short term, which tells me that Bitcoin is also positioned for this. Okay, it closed a little. Well, let me see the daily first of all, right? Because this is going to give us a pretty nice telling system. Let's see. Oh man, look at that. We closed at 109,663. We reached. In reality, I would have preferred this to close at 110,600, right? That would have been the better thing. There is a potential distribution on this that can be, 108,008 to maybe down to just about 108,474 before an upside continuation commences or continues. So in that case, guys, yeah, I think that we're near a floor. And if we get down into this area here, that would be a pretty cool area to enter risk. That would be roughly at this low right here. That would be, damn it, guys. 223.43 to 223.02. It almost feels like it's nothing. But all good, right? If that's what the math is suggesting, then that's what the math is suggesting. No biggly diggly diggly. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this price target on this with the receipts on this and be chilling. Now, remember that we already had kind of some targeting on this too, right? There we go. And we already kind of had it there. Perfect. So yeah, the focus area that I'm looking at, guys, would be just about here. Okay, so let's see about that. And then we'll do our damn little thing, okay, guys. So far, I think, yeah, let's just wait for a downside here. Of course, the probabilities can still, no problem. It could still absolutely rock the 222 to 221.37, and also the very confluent $2.20 or the 1948 or whatever that was. Okay, so yeah, guys, I think this is a pretty good place for me to leave off. If there's any questions or concerns, definitely reach out to me, and we shall catch each other a little later. All right, team. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Ever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well. A very, very good rest of your night and or day. And I will catch you at the bell on Monday. Adios, team. Oh, yeah.